Beloved, that I know I am here to think, aware of all illusion at the brink, and being so aware, I come to know that you are one above. Beyond the go of changing things, as witness to the show of justice you make, when you steal your word by prophet and divine guide to the stirred, your revelation of the right in these three paths, as one in treasured trinities of law and prophecy and word made flesh, come to my soul today, and now make fresh my coming to your face in judgment and extinction of illusions, will and hand to find your paradise on silver sand. Week 1, Genesis 1, speak out, O my beloved, of your creation, how you made all things that exist and yet existent as you are. You have no nation, but are as one apart from all things met. Speak out, O my beloved, of light and air, of all the signs and wonders that appear in earth and sea and sky and everywhere. Fowl flutter, cattle wander without fear. Speak out, O my beloved, command and blessing, to fill the earth and have dominion in the things to eat. If they are seeds, I am guessing they may be fruit, grain or nuts without sin. Speak out, O my beloved, and at your speaking find me here always answering and seeking. In starting he created, God Elohim made the skies and sod. The earth was vain and formless plain, though dark things over the deep plod, and a great wind hovered in pain of birth above the water's bane. Said Elohim, let there be light, and there was light on earth to reign. Saw Elohim the light was right, divided Elohim on sight, the light from darkness in its sway. Called Elohim light day and night, he called the darkness. So that way evening and morning were first day. There are some who still hope that they can find a date for heaven and earth among the blind. Some count to 6 millennia and say that time stood still before your word in sway. Some count 4 billion years and still count more back from the rushing light years in their store, and know that bangs cannot be heard without the ether aired to carry up a shout. Beloved, the mind of man and woman too is curious to know when what you do is given time and place among the great. It is a common human sort of fate. So 6,000 or 4 billion come late. Both raise in me derision for the state. With act of your creation you unfold philosophy among the ones you scold. The universe before the human eye implies both things determined on the sly, and freedom from the press of doubt and why. By making human brain to work this way, you slip in inconsistency for play. We must retain determination's bill, as well as freedom on the earthly hill. The revenuer always seeks the still. Umbrella of your sovereignty includes the free will of some acts the heart extrudes. Beloved, determine now your love for me, and I shall still pretend that I am free. That source of all the universe displayed in time without time, space unspaced betrayed, may have been like a great balloon to pop, and so expands until it comes to stop. The universe is flying still about in rubber bits and pieces in a flout. But once the thrust is gone, the pieces drop and lie upon a crystal floor to mop. Beloved, get out a broom to sweep away the stars and stuffs dropping on your hay. The whirling and the swirling have their day, but rest at last in non-existent sway is like to make an unheard of recall of every turning sun and planet's ball. If all the stuff you poured out from the fount at speeds incredible in veil or mount keeps going outward from the central core, I would like to know what keeps them on the shore. Direction of propulsion seems to me to indicate a certain gravity at the place of Big Bang's one sorcery. I may mistake both grail of history and physics with my lack of property. But if there is no attraction in that face from which all things pour out in crumpled race, then there can be no destination's place. I should have studied physics instead of theologies for naught in sacred love. Beloved, you made the worlds and every sun for one purpose. I trow, since I have begun, I do admit my powers of comprehension are not too great in eternal suspension, but still I speculate about your smile. It's hardly done with any sort of guile, so try to forgive me my extra mile. It's gratefulness you sought in everything you made to spin about and made to sing. A grateful heart suffices in the sting of law and judgment set forth on the wing. So as I expand here diminished by the years of days that I remain to vie, I thank you for creating on the sly. Though skies and plains retain a certain guile, at least before the Trojans in their style, they have no hate within their bosoms set, and no one hates them here before they're met. Hate is no thing created in the blue. It is no thing that has come out from you, beloved, but is the product of the view that you are reflected in the human heart, as though a thing that each one sets apart. I know that I am God by that light shared, and so assume that anyone else bared competes with my uniqueness, and must go into destruction before my own glow. Half-blindness is the starting of the show. If you are a treasure to be found at last among the universes in the blast, after millennia's debris outcast, then what of the time before the half-mast? I count to 10 or 100 and I call out that I am coming after you and all, and you pretend to hide and wink and peek at all the boys and girls out on the seat. Before the game, what did you then desire? Were you for untold years upon the pyre of longing? Longing for the human heart not yet displayed at all by divine art? Beloved, love in your own time, and tell me no hint of your intent apostasy. If you planned from infinities of time what you would come to bang out in both rhyme and rhythms rippling through unthwarted space, you must have been elated by the face that you created after all the while. It must have caused you to break out a smile. If you took such infinities to shake out blueprints of the things you would like to make, I wonder that the execution's stake should be so short and sudden in the wake. Beloved, if you are elated, then so be, and in elation look or not on me. In wiser myths of wiser men times past, they saw the heavens and earth mated to cast between them all the love and light that stays in fleeting glimpses on the earthly ways. The principle of pairing in creation is not just sexual sort of elation, but is the central fact of its existence. The pairing is a thing of some insistence. Only you who create all things are one, and only you exist as one when done. The set of the Creator contains just one alone, while the cosmic sort of dust is multiplied and multiplied as must, until the end of all things come to rust. Beloved, I beg your pardon that I make so many sonnets on the simple take of the first verse you had inscribed to be beginning of the Revelation's spree. The fact is, though I contemplate the whole of Bible and Koran as greater goal, I simply turn and return to the start where I fail comprehending divine part. I thought I understood first reading of the books you sent down to men in your love, but with re-reading, find my knowing there was hardly a beginning of the share. I ponder all my life the first verse shown, and then just the dot in the Beth unknown. There is no lack of rhymes to take this word among the English terms that have occurred since Oxford Dictionary came and stirred imagination of the continent. There are infinities that can be meant. I may not weary you, beloved, at all. I may not become tired here in my stall, but if I write a dozen more in call of sonnets on the first verse of your book, I will never finish all the things in crook to the end of the Holy Koran's nook. Besides, such slating of infinities is like to turn my reader on his knees to beg of me alone your own mercies. All things created are weighted as signs of your existence and of your designs. They speak in multiplicity to say that you alone are one and every day. The Holy Quran makes appeal to those created things as witnesses in rows, and David in his Psalms is on his toes to show that heaven and earth repeat along the burden of creation's light in song. The weight of witness still speaks to my heart that moves along on earth by donkey cart, and tells the light years on my path that you are near and far, inside and out of view. The weighted witness remains here my cue. When and where were you waiting before you produced the universe to heavenly view? You had and have no whenness to wait here, and you retain no whereness to appear. All times and places may be your abode, but all are too scant for you and your load. Wait if you will or must, but still I trust that words of revelation in the dust are mighty flighty in a sugared crust. I wait for inspiration from the crowd of witnesses that you have once allowed, and find too much to sing upon my heart. Your witnessing was my waiting for dart in my breast to create my love to start. The basis of both time and space you made in the six of directions in parade, and counted out the pairs of skies and earth to find their dearth and worth and birth and mirth. The Finns are brighter far in tongue and word. They have the 8 directions that unstirred in other languages are only 4. They have 2 extra insights at the door. Beloved, as you are one in absolute, and of all things creator at the root. All things are pairs and multiplicities expanding through the universe in freeze. I turn from the outgoing back to find the oneness of your own and unique kind. I turn from heaven and seeking to the earth to find beneath my foot one thing of worth. I find you, O beloved, in all the gates wherein the lovely hidden treasure waits, the gate of earth, one without form and deep reality. Where soul's distinctions sleep, I find you in the gate of waters where there is no light, but your awareness bear. I find you in the gate of air, in law that touches the prostrated soul with awe. In earth and water, wind and darkness sought, you are the treasure that cannot be bought. The treasure of Teham, the depth of fire, in all the gates, beloved. My one desire, let me not worship light. For now I see that light is just a word that says let be. Indeed it is a thing created so that in the everlasting night might glow that word resounding from the mouth of God. Let there be light, a path where angels trod, and being so let light be trodden down. Created first, let this be light's renown. Created glory is but darkness when the uncreated one appears to men. Illumination of the human heart reveals an empty temple without art. But even darkness may suffice to show that you, beloved, are there though light may go. Beloved, I fear to hear that you see light, for in my seeing light is only night. By light I see the other, not the right. The light is but the medium of my sight. But you have need of nothing, so you know, perceive directly both the yes and no. You only may divide the light and dark, distinguish good and evil in the park. Beloved, you see the light, and what you see is good. If good, beloved, look not on me. There is none good at all but one. Look not, beloved, on me undone, and let not me be good, but you alone who are not made of blood and flesh and bone. Beloved, you cantillate the name of day, but I can never hear a word you say. Again your lovely voice lifts to recite the words of darkness, and there is the night. I see the day, the glories of its birth that go from topaz, emerald, then in worth to ruby, last to diamond, then to dusk. I smell night's perfumes, and I smell its musk. But I hear nothing of your diurnal song. Speak, sing, beloved, to tell me I have no wrong. I see the day and smell the night, but hear no whisper of divine upon my ear. It is not mine to hear your words out. Flung who am the whispered word upon your tongue, said Elohim. Let be expanse of beaten metal in the dance between the waters, to divide the waters from waters' advance. Made Elohim expanse to ride dividing waters, that may glide beneath the expanse from those that stand there above. It came in pride, called Elohim the expanse flat, the pair of skies where they are at. Then evening came, and morning vied, to make the second day beside. The second day you spoke the firmament into existence, with your word and scent, dividing thus the gate of waters there above the gates of earth and fire and air. Yet when I look into the sky, behold, there is no stretch of beaten metal cold against stupendous reaches into space. I find no firmament in time or place, and still I raise my eyes from earth to sky, between awareness and reality, and look in awe, not on a firmament, but on the bare, uncircumscribed ascent. Nothing divides the heaven and earth in time except the tinkling hammers and their rhyme, said Elohim. Be gathered there the waters under the skies share to one place, and so let appear the dry land. It was so and fair, called Elohim dry land earth clear. The gathering of the waters here he called seas. Elohim then saw that it was good, and it was dear, said Elohim. Let earth updraw grass, herb seeding seed without flaw, the fruit tree making fruit in kind, its seed in itself on earth's maw. And so it came to be outlined, and earth sprouted the grass refined, the herb seeding seed to its mate, and tree making fruit to its kind. Saw Elohim it was good rate. So evening and morn were not late to bring the third day and in state. To bring the third day and in state. The gates of earth and water at your word appeared before my heart, and my soul stirred at your call. My beloved to enter in, I try it with a toe instead of fin, and brace myself for some regeneration, or at the least uplifting jubilation. This meek way is too cold, I say aloud, and try to hide myself amidst the crowd. Ablutions, baptisms are for the mind or body, rather literally inclined. My spirit is a higher class, and one imbued with spirituality hard won. Dive in, I find this is no dunking pool, but seas of love for every swimming fool. I step upon the earth with dripping hair, and see it sprouting green leaves everywhere at your command. Beloved, and at your ease, it brings forth grass and herb and fruitful trees. The gate of air I need at every breath. I plunge into the water. That small death does not at all quench any of my fire, but only when I step into the mire and feel the scratch of prickle on my soul, do I at last enter the chambered goal. Instead of barren rocky shore and cloud, I find the luscious fruit and table bowed and banquet set for one reality. I join with you, and you, beloved, with me, said Elohim. Let there be lights in the expanse of heaven. From nights divide the day, and let them be for signs, seasons, days and years' heights, and them be for lights and free in the expanse of sky to see, in the expanse of heaven to set light on the earth bright in degree. Made Elohim two great lights met, the greater light to rule day yet, the lesser light to dominate over the night, and stars in net. Gave Elohim them in the state of the expanse of skies, by rate to light the earth and rule the day, and manage the night too in freight, and separate light from the sway of darkness. Saw Elohim play for good. Came evening, and the ray of morning to make the fourth day beloved. You give from day to day the lights upon the skies, to rule the days and nights. By night and day I look to see their signs for good or ill, for what their glow divines. I see them measure off my days and years, their regular ascents to calm my fears. But fourth day of creation knows no feast, no new moon, nor a Sabbath at the least. The only festival appointed must be that trysts secretly in wine and crust I have with you. Beloved, feed, day by day, as greater, lesser lights go on their way. Appointments momentarily below the 100,000 stars that come and go. Said Elohim, let waters swarm abundance of living, not warm, and let birds fly above the earth over sky's expanse without harm. Created Elohim for worth sea creatures and all that, in birth of waters swarm to their own kind, and every bird in the sky, S-girth according to its wing designed, saw Elohim good and refined. And Elohim blessed them, and said, be fruitful, multiply, and mind, fill waters in the seas, be led birds on earth to increase well fed. So evening and the morning sped to set forth the fifth day instead. Out of the gathered waters of the deep, the dying vat, Mique, baptismal font, above the great wind's sighing and its sweep, you conjure up, ethereal and gaunt, the living nafs, the self, that fleeting fish that turns from wraith to silver with one wish and disappears, a droplet in the vast and mobile sea. If I take fly and cast, it may take all my 60 years and 10 to find and catch that silver fish again. I shall not wait upon the shore, shall not. I care not whether silver fish are caught. Instead, I plunge into that rising foam and quickly pass into eternal home. Said Elohim, let earth produce the living creature to its use, the cattle and the creeping thing, beast of the earth in its kind's truce. Made Elohim the beastly thing according to its kind to sing, the cattle in its sort and all that creeps on earth in kind and ring. Saw Elohim the good in all. Said Elohim, let's now install man in our image, by our plan, and let them have the rule in call upon the fish of the sea's span, and over birds of heaven. S-ban the cattle upon all the earth, and creepers on earth to a man. Created Elohim in birth of his image, the man of worth, into the great image made him. Male and female made them in girth. Blessed them, did Elohim in him, and said, Elohim to them grim, so multiply, fill the earth's ring, and live throughout its breadth and rim. Rule over fish that the seas fling, birds of the air and birds that sing, and over every living beast that moves on earth by foot or wing. Said Elohim, see, now increased to you be every herb released with seeds on face of all the ground, and every tree with fruit at least. For you it shall be your food found. To every earthly beast around, to every bird of heaven, to each live creeping thing upon the ground. I put green herbs within their reach. Saw Elohim that all was peach that had made. So eve and morn stay, establishing here the 6th day. Beloved, you blessed the birds and fishes and made them souls upon their wishes. But when it came to creeping things, you seem to have some questionings. At least you do not bless the cattle nor wild beasts going out to battle, since these are closer, bone and claw, to humans, and they stand in awe of human powers. One might think they too deserve a missing link, to enter in the books of those you set apart and marked and chose. Treat me, beloved, I truly wish, not like the cattle but the fish, Your image is a canvas vaster than what sea and sky and earth forever can. Yet your self-portrait in perfection lies within the atom's small peripheries. To each wrought figure, either small or vast, you have his own dominion wisely cast. Each might within your image has been crowned and granted, each its nourishment and bound. Your sovereignty of sovereigns knows no press, while am in your creation, free to guess. Though I myself am not your image whole, as some would trust whose faith has greater goal, I glory in the honor of the part I have in your creation's noble art. The heavens in pairs and earth in slack begin no multiplying's lack. Formless and void, darkness on deep. The fatal wind where waters leap, waters above and those below. The light and dark, eve and morn's glow, the day and night, the sun and moon, the fish and bird, and just as soon the beast and humankind appear in Ali and Fatima's fear, till yin, yang, ra, nafs, hope and love join in the one all things above. Beloved, the you and I remain forever your treasure and gain. Beloved, this is the first of your commands, a double statute that perhaps still stands. Although you set the bounds of reproduction, as what the earth is able, in construction of living space and eating, you impose the duty first of all, since men arose and women too, to live and propagate. One half of all required in every state remains to fill this first command. Obey the human urge to make, produce, and play. Consumption and production are the whole these words imply, to make and take the goal. Beloved, I fulfill your will devoutly by merely breathing inwardly and outly. Beloved, I jump to no conclusions when I hear you give dominion now to men and women as the second of commands. I do not think that makes us kings of lands or even animals. Dominion's but the word you use when you would tell us what we ought to eat and what the others choose. Dominion's nothing more, a right to lose, than eating seeds and such, instead of greens. The one that eats more than corn, squash, and beans has lost dominion, eating leaf and root. Dominion's not a scepter, crown, and suit. Let me, beloved fade, crack the sacred nut, divide the grape and sit beneath your hut.